Okay, so this video is going to be a bit different. This is going to be me talking about all the webisodes that have been done for Heroes, both the main show and Reborn, along with the documentary series Heroes Unmasked. Look at the description for whatever product you want to hear about, okay? And I'll also probably update the comments once I get done with the comics too, or maybe I'll put that at the end of the Reborn video, I don't know. Okay, so first of all, talking about the Untold stories from Season 2 feature, I'll admit I'm going to be reading a lot of these things just from a page here because I didn't think I'd be able to keep track of it all. Well, given how these are just fragments of what the writers wanted to tell for what would have been the 12th and 13th episode for that season, and they probably would have gone on longer. Actually, wait, no, they wouldn't have, because they said that it was supposed to be a free volume structure, but they had to do those other two volumes in season 3. Yeah, so they might have actually just done it as 12 or 13 episodes. Okay. Who knows what they had in plans? We can't go back in time that far. The bits involving Bob's daughter trying to hunt Siler, but likely having someone be tracking her, that does give her a little bit more reason to rebel against her father and then trust Noah than what we got in the main show. The Siler bits, it's just more kills. Nicely done, but again, it's just fragments. And the little added bits involving Peter and Nathan's mother, Angela. She's there just to be a, not antagonist, but a person that you don't fully trust, but a familiar face to help bridge these things together. Because Season 1 and Season 3 made it clear that there's a bit more to her. You can't entirely trust her. Going Postal, that webisode series, well, there wasn't that much to it, honestly. I felt like the main purpose of it was just to show where Peter's mother was doing when she wasn't being featured on the main show. And since I don't know when exactly this webisode aired in relation to the episodes that we're seeing, but I don't think that you're meant to watch these at certain points when you're watching specific episodes of the show anyway. You're just supposed to take them as it is. That's what I got. But yeah, perfectly ordinary guy who then gets captured by the people trying to hunt people with special abilities, and then he gets sent to Building 20 or wherever Peter and Nathan's mother will send them. Destiny, that webisode bit, it's a nice example of how people were captured / recruited for the company, but then they managed to rebel. It also gives the illusion that possibly in other countries besides America, people with special abilities might have an easier time revolting. It's subtle, but it could easily happen, you know? I mean, like, one nation doing things to get other international allies to distrust them, and then it exposes new bonds? Could happen. I wasn't a fan of the cliffhanger ending, but it's just one tiny story in an overall universe, you know? Oh, and also, while Going Postal and a couple of other ones were included on the Season 3 special features, do you recall that this one was included in some kind of deleted scene? I swear that I'd seen a few seconds of this on the extras, at least. Mandela effect, possibly? I don't know. Then we've got the Recruit webisode series, which is the military person who then discovers that she has a special ability and then tries to do things to the company. It's just another spin on the overall situation that was going on in Season 3, you know? But I did not see that twist coming at all. And a question, did the character that Peter's mother calls at the end of this appear in season 3? I don't know. Because if that character didn't, then it really does make some of these webisode things kind of useless, unlike the Battlestar Galactica 04 webisodes, which gave a little more insight into what was happening on the show, and you clearly were meant to watch them, though how are you really supposed to know that if you won't keep it up on social media? That's... Actually, wait, social media wasn't nearly as big back then, so how did they figure that out? Good question, and I don't think I can figure out an answer. Hard Knox is a nice little bit into Matt's background, because this clearly occurs before season 1. Because in part 4, the black guy goes, "They got you busted down in traffic now?" And it's nice to see a real-life theme mixed into these webisodes. And I feel like the Mandela effect is happening here too, because I swear that I saw the first part of this on the Season 3 special features, but I checked and it's not there. Well. No Man, which tells the story of Doyle after Claire helps him out a bit. I really liked that one. Has a lot more of the real-life elements being mixed in with this stuff, and just a nice little bit, although of course we know that Doyle managed to screw himself up, evidenced by what happened in season 4 anyway, but he tried, and relapsing like that is what a lot of addicts / guilt-ridden people do. I mean, like, I saw my sister quit cigarettes like 3 different times. And let's not even discuss the other problem. Yeah. Slow Burn, which is the season 4 webisode series that follows Tattoo Lady Lydia. I didn't think that much of it, to be honest, but that's because I never really understood the significance of Lydia's character. Hopefully a rewatch of that season will make it more clear to me. I do feel sorry for her, but the problem was they kept jumping forward in time so much that it just wasn't enough of a story. I wouldn't be too surprised if this was a storyline that was supposed to be integrated into the actual season, and then partially because they knew that the show was about to get cancelled or suspected it, they just kind of abandoned it, but then realized if we just do a little bit more, maybe. And a question, how come this webisode doesn't have individual names for the parts like all of the others? Huh? Right. Now, moving on to the Reborn webisodes. Dark Matters. Oh, man, that was great. This thing did an excellent job of bridging the gap between the 2 shows, because I had heard by chance that you should watch Dark Matters before watching Reborn, and I am just so glad that I did that. It was a great bit of bringing things into the next generation, because technology on the main show wasn't really advancing, which kind of makes sense, because while smartphones, they actually seem to start like in season 2 of the main show in real time, okay? They weren't really picking up steam, as far as I could tell, until like halfway through high school for me, which was when the main show was cancelled in 2010. But like, it hadn't really become a fixture, because back then there were, you know, the people that had smartphones, the people that didn't, and people worked with the people that didn't have smartphones. It wasn't treated as a big deal. And then, of course, literally just 3-4 years later, suddenly it's like, you don't have a smartphone? Like, what kind of person are you? Provided you weren't an old person, that is. Yeah, some of the hypocritical actions to people that I learned then, I could tell you, but yeah, it's just astounding just how much a few years changed the whole planet. in essence, because 2012, when I finished high school, felt nothing like what was going on in 2020 right before the pandemic hit, and then of course the pandemic changes up that much more. It's just shocking. The actual events of it, well, it was nice to see how at the beginning of it you felt that Quentin was being a dick and that his sister, who I've unfortunately already forgotten the name of, Molly maybe, was the good guy, but then just a few parts later they shift sides. It's always pretty interesting when they do that. The Man with Iron Mask, where Leo is both the hero and bad guy. Another excellent example of that. The twist that the hoodie person was Micah, well, one, they show that it was an African American anyway, so that was a decent clue, but then the other clue is, of course, the power. How else could someone like that get away with all this if they couldn't manipulate electromagnetic signals, huh? Yeah. And then society turning on people, well, interesting themes going on, a little bit ahead of its time, hint hint. Right. The ending, a little abrupt, but something tells me that this is not the last that we see of Micah. Honestly, like, I just have a really tough time believing that the writers would try and get a known character from the main show back in order to just do a glorified cameo and all that. But I'm also really pleased to know that Noah is going to be coming back, because I really like the character, and because he doesn't have special abilities, he is the easiest one to bring back into the picture, you know. Plus, the actor who plays him, I've seen him in a couple of other things. The later season of The Office, where he plays a clueless senator, and Angels in the End Zone, a direct-to-video kids movie, and he plays the dad in that movie. He does look different there, but you buy that this guy can play a variety of ages based on how I've seen him in this show. And he's got quite the filmography, even though I'm not familiar with most of it. So I was real pleased to see that. So I hope they do good with Noah and Reborn. Now for the Damen Peak bit. What the hell was that? Okay, that was not a webisode, okay? Because first of all, they haven't broken into 3 parts. The second part doesn't even get a name, and it's all clearly meant to be viewed as just one 4-minute bit. So you should have just done it like that, but even then, this is not a webisode, okay? This is a glorified car commercial that just has a couple characters that could be Reborn, because this was released like 2/3 of the way into Reborn, but it just has basically no purpose. And even once I see Reborn, even if I recognize these characters, I bet this is going to be superfluous. And then the black chick, she knew that he had the power of persuasion / ability to hypnotize, and yet she just falls for it super easy. You did not have to walk up to him. You could have gotten out of the car, shot him, and just, stunned him. I don't even know that was a real gun. It had to have been a real gun, but just, that was so stupid. And even then, the setting up of the construction bit just to get him to do that elaborate U-turn, but no, that's just to show the car, okay? Because there wasn't even anyone else there the whole time. You're telling me that she managed to get him to go down that exact route, but didn't plan for just... you know what I'm getting. I don't even have to finish those sentences. Like, that was pathetic. Okay? Pathetic. No wonder it's not even included in the set there, whereas John Commanders is. When I say the set, I mean Reborn here. Right. Okay, so that's it for the webisodes, and now for Heroes Unmasked. I really liked this documentary series because even though you're supposed to be watching this along with the main show, it just felt like they were doing such a good job of taking all of us through the journey of these 46 episodes that they did, even though they have a couple of them be teases for the next season, and one of them was like a recap of either the first season or the impact of the first season. So in reality, it's more like 41 episodes, truly. But I thought it was great. I love hearing little tidbits from the cast, how they pulled off various effects, and then the bits where a nuclear guy is threatening Claire's family, and Matt is there because that's when he shoots Claire. I had no idea that nuclear guy and Claire's mother were married in real life. Oh, that was crazy. Yeah, to know that, right. It's a bummer that they didn't at least continue it for the rest of season 3, but for whatever reason they chose to stop at the halfway point. Oh well. What we got there is nice, so if you could find the show off archive, I recommend that you give it a whirl and see if you're into it, because it doesn't have a disc release anywhere. Okay, well that finishes up all the other miscellaneous projects of heroes that I've seen up to this point. Again, I do want to read the comics along with Saving Charlie. I've got a PDF of that downloaded onto here, but I haven't been able to get through it as fast as I would have liked. When I'm done with those things, I'll leave an add-on probably in the comments of this video, or maybe I'll do a Sunday video for them. I'm not sure yet, okay? So I know that this wasn't the greatest video, but I didn't want to leave these stones unturned. You know. See ya.